Greetings and welcome to the Pure Report. I'm your host, Rob Ludeman, and it is time to bring the orange. Coming up on this episode, we are going to be going through and introducing you to 5 of our summer interns. You're going to find out and learn what they have been working on this summer, their experience here at Everpure in our great internship program. And also, we're going to be getting their perspectives on the use of AI, both in the classroom and in their jobs. So stay tuned, because you're probably going to want to hear what the next generation thinks about AI. And for our first guest, I am super thrilled to introduce Harshul Srivastava. We practiced the last name. You gave me different ways to pronounce it.
Yep.
I didn't know you are an MBA student at Indiana. Congrats on the football win for
Thank
the
you.
team. That was super exciting. And you're working in our growth marketing department. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Rob. I'm very excited to be on this podcast.
Yes, I am excited to have you all flow through. I think everybody's going to have a great time hearing from you and about you. And you're somewhat local, Tracy, about an hour away or so, kind of out in the East Bay, past that direction.
Way past. You see the windmills and you still keep going.
That's right. Yes, keep driving past the windmills down the Altamont Pass to get there. Tell me about your time here over the summer, working on the growth market, like really interesting space. Growth marketing, for folks that may not know, like this is where we run campaigns. This is where we do demand generation. Like the marketing is connecting with the buyer, the opportunity in the market. What's that been like for you?
It's been really good because part of my MBA, I took one class about marketing in general, and they talk to you about the overall funnel, where you have the top of the funnel events all the way to the bottom. And I assume that different teams lead that. And then coming in here, I got the privilege of working with everyone across growth. So I did projects with digital marketing, I did projects with global programs, did some projects for field as well as partner. So I got to experience all facets of it, got to learn a lot about how we have different alliances, the different kind of partners we have, learned the differences between resellers, distributors, all the good things.
Yeah.
So it was really good. I mean, in 12 weeks, having an opportunity to talk to over 35 people.
Amazing.
And work on over 14 different projects, it was amazing.
14.
So much to learn. I think I learned more in these 12 weeks than I did in my first year of MBA.
Well, and it's supposed to be complementary, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's the best internship is something that augments what you're learning in school, because you can't really replace learning on the job. And I know from your work history, you also spent time at some startups. You were at Oracle, as I was for a good number of years. And so you had some experience going in, but now you're actually getting to see the application of, okay, what does this discipline look like in marketing? How does that relate to what I'm learning? And also to help you kind of guide where you might want to go and what you might want to do when you're done. How much time do you have left in your MBA program?
I have one more year.
Left.
Okay. But I am very glad that I got this opportunity to intern, because going into MBA, I knew I wanted to go back to tech, and I knew I wanted to go back to California, which got solidified the first winter in Indiana.
Yeah.
I decided, no, California is great. I would love my 50-degree winters back.
Yeah.
And then having the experience in sales and sales operations, marketing was the next favorite thing that I wanted to explore. So all of those ideas just got validated in this internship, that about week 4, week 5, I knew this is what I wanted to do. This is where I wanted to be, because there's so much that is changing.
Yeah.
Even with just Pure, this was the perfect time with the whole rename. So all of the content that was coming out for it, all of the campaigns that we're trying to put out, the name changes, making new playbooks for those. It was so dynamic every day, and there was just so much that we were seeing happen and change that I was just like, yep, this is perfect for me.
That's good. I'm glad you landed here. And it is an exciting time. I mean, that's one thing I think that you notice is there's no shortage of things to do here. But you correctly get that connection between sales, and you've done sales and sales operations and marketing. There should be a very good connection with what we're helping find that we then can push into the sales funnel and get them operating on, that opportunity, right? It makes a lot of sense. How did you find out about the opportunity to do the internship?
So I was networking with a lot of alumni.
Okay.
And then I was talking to them, and I realized that having the idea that I did about what I wanted to do, I was really focused on looking at places in the Bay Area, and I came across Everpure's job listing, and they just had a general marketing intern position.
Yeah.
So I reached out to a few people in the company just for coffee chats to see if this is something that I would like to do, and if the experience or if the exact description aligns with my expertise, because I did not want to come in and commit to something that I would know that I would fail at.
Yeah.
That would just be, I feel like, a waste of my time as well as the company's. So I did a lot of coffee chats, realized I do like it here. I spoke to someone on the product marketing team. Her name's Sneha.
Okay. Yeah.
And she also has an MBA. So it's like,
Yeah.
hey, listen, from an MBA perspective, do you think that this would be a good choice for me? And she was like, yeah, this is perfect. So come in. And then I applied. Also, when I first looked up the company's name, I confused it for public storage.
Oh,
Because
yes,
of the orange
that is
and
a
the
common,
storage.
yes, for people not in tech, that does happen quite a bit, but
Yes.
with the cover, the color, if I have relatives that maybe don't know tech as well, they'll ask about that.
Yeah.
But that's great that you came upon it, and also that you had the opportunity to reach out to some folks
Yes.
and have a conversation. One of the things I love about the internships, and this has been consistent since I've been here, and I think I did a podcast in 2019 with interns back then, is we actually bring you in as part of the fold in the actual team, but also give you really important work that we actually need done and that we actually use going forward. Give us an example of one of the projects just to help people understand the meaningful work you get. What's the one that stands out for you?
Oh, my favorite project right now, and I'm still working on it, is I'm working on an events calendar that we, as a marketing team in the growth, puts up. So this is going to be a dynamic dashboard. A lot of AI users in it.
Okay, I want to tag that. I want to ask. That's going to be part of the next question.
Yes, but we do a lot of information that comes in post events where you have Tableau and you have all of the pipeline generated. So you have the actuals coming in, but we need a better way to look at all of the predicted ones. Where are these events happening? There are sales or AEs reaching out to our field marketers asking, hey, where are the next events that are happening in London? And people would have to go through these long list of app sheets, pull it out, make
or
pivot
emails,
tables.
right? Yeah.
It's just so much work to do. So this is essentially a Google Scripts dashboard where we have toggled and restricted accesses for marketers as well as sales, and they can see any event on a very interactive map.
Love that.
You can look up London. It's like an Airbnb. You look up a city in a specific time, and then you see all the events listed there. You can click around the map. You can look at different quarters, different periods, and it also tracks estimated pipeline. So when we, as marketers, are planning events and we see that there's not much pipeline being generated in APAC or APJ or New Zealand, why is that happening?
Yeah.
What are the events? When are we really overloading the events? It just makes the planning so much easier. And I think as marketers, a lot of us are very visual in terms of things. We like things just by showing it in pictures and charts and just making it look pretty.
Yeah.
So this is what this dashboard does.
I love that because I think back to the number of big, gory, giant spreadsheets that I've had to work with over the years here, where you tried to list and line up all the different events in the different locations, and eventually it just breaks down, and we've had different iterations. So I am super excited to see what that looks like. Last thought, because I've got your peers out in the hallway waiting to come in, which is super exciting. Just about your usage of AI, both in your role or in school in general. I think it's important for, many of the listeners and viewers who are later in their careers like me to understand what the next generation sees and views around AI. How do you use it? What are you worried about?
Oh, coming into the internship, we were all really worried about the fact that AI would take our jobs. That is the whole narrative that's going out around. And it was really nice to see that AI cannot take marketing jobs.
Yeah.
The only thing AI can do is make it easier. I think that because a company like ours, there is so much overlap of stakeholders on projects where you would have to wait for someone else to finish this one task that you might not be an expert in. And then what AI helps you is you can do it on your own now.
Yeah.
So it just, I guess, makes it easier for you to scale your project and makes it easier for you to do things quicker. But that's pretty much what it is. It is an assistant. Having spent 12 weeks pretty much just bringing automation to the team, I know for a fact that you can just use that as an assistant. And even then, if you have it make a playbook and then you read it, you're just like, what do you want to say?
Yeah.
What is this really trying to get across? Because that's what it's missing. It's missing that human connection and that human touch. That being said, I have also spent a lot of time in these past 12 weeks having one-on-ones with senior team members, teaching them Claude.
I love
I'm just
that.
like,
I love
okay,
that.
you can talk to Claude and you
Yeah.
can tell it things.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, I guess, hesitation in revealing a lot of things to Claude because you're just like, but how would it know? Or is it safe? Did you check with someone? Is it okay to tell them? But it's just me reassuring them that no, this is okay. You
Yeah.
can do a lot with it. And most of this is like a show and tell. I'm like, listen, this is what I did for you. You could take this on further. But I think that's what we have to do moving forward. I think it's just a lot of the senior leadership is now learning that we have to use AI. And I think they're leveraging all of the new interns for that.
Yeah.
They're asking a lot of us to teach them. They're so accepting about it. They're also really nice where they praise you for those things. We're saying, okay, I am contributing something to the team. And I'm not just sitting here on my own desk and working day and night.
I think it's great because I have noticed that across all the interns that we're going to talk to here is that you're very much early adopters. You're at the front edge, and there are things like with Asha, like that she's working on the
Yep.
work, the workflow for even how we edit this episode, and she's
Yep.
inserting Claude and the ability for me to put transcripts in and things like that. And so, like, I'm not going to go out and be that kind of early adopter. And so we're really learning a lot from all you. And it's just so great that you've been here, and I hope you loved your experience.
I truly loved
And hopefully we'll get to, see what you're up to out in the future.
Yes, of course. I am very excited for all the things that future holds.
That's great. Well, best of luck in your last year at Indiana. And certainly, hopefully, you've built up relationships here that you can get references and
Yep.
things to help you as you go out and start your career. And we're just so excited to see how that goes for you. And thanks for the time this summer.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Yes,
Thank you.
and thank you for coming on the program. Very nicely done. Stay tuned, everybody. We're going to be bringing another one of our interns in here. I think Keira is coming up next. And thank you for watching. There'll be just a slight pause, and we'll come right back to you with Keira. Welcome back. We are with our second summer intern, Keira Wong, who attends UC Irvine and is from San Francisco and working in the Executive Briefing Center. What a fun group to work with.
Very
Welcome to the
fun.
program.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
I know, and I'm excited to have you here. Let's just start. How's your time been this summer? What have you liked about the internship?
It's been so awesome. I think even from like recruiting and talking to Lexi, my recruiter, they just had such a personal energy, and I knew they would be very like forward and present throughout the whole thing. And I've really felt that support throughout the whole internship that I've had here. I love the events that they've hosted, but not only that, I feel like I just have so much free access to resources, like just having Claude or having like our intern on like how to like innovate with AI within our company has been so awesome to have, and really being able to use those to their full extent has been so awesome. So I get to like create all these projects, and my team's been so supportive and like giving me feedback, asking more questions, and then like twisting my brain in a new way that I haven't before. So it's been a really fun challenge through and through, but I really like it.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I love that we put some fun challenges in front of you. And, for folks that don't know, doing field marketing, doing executive briefings, like really dynamic area where
Yeah,
you're preparing and planning things that we're actually going to engage with prospects and customers on.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually super important.
It's really
to
important.
have that set up.
Yeah, I think there's so many back end things that aren't really talked about as much, so it looks so seamless and frictionless, but really like there's so many logistics and communication going on in the back end, so it looks like that at the end. But yeah, it's definitely very rewarding to see, and I think it really does improve upon those like customer relationships, which is really important, of like closing that gap of like our back end people are working so hard to create this product, but how are we also communicating that product in a very clear way to the customer. So it's a very cool space to be in. So
A lot of marketing as a duck on the water.
Yeah.
That looks like it's swimming very smoothly, but there's a lot of paddling.
That's a
know,
great way to put it. Yes,
right?
that's exactly
that
what it
kind
is.
of thing that's going on under the covers. How'd you come upon the internship? Like, what was your exposure to finding out about Everpure and this opportunity?
It was really just LinkedIn.
Really?
Honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
You just saw a
It was
post.
very simple.
That was
Yeah.
it.
I was very like adamant on I need like a third year internship.
Okay.
I think many like college students are the same, but I really want to like get my experience up. I want to like learn from more people. I want to see like really what I'm passionate about and like what space or field I want to be in. And even if I get it wrong, like maybe I'll move to the next thing. But I was just like applying to a lot of things. But this one really stuck out to me, and I did get other offers, but I really just enjoyed talking to Lexi especially, and
Yeah.
like the nature of this field, being in like data management, being in tech, and being able to just be surrounded by really innovative and competitive people. So this felt like a good spot for me.
It's great exposure. And again, not everything is always a home run or a winner, but that's why you try different things and you're
Of course,
at the point
yeah.
in your life and in your career where you can kick the tires of different opportunities and go, I don't
Yeah.
really like high tech. Maybe I want to go into a different industry. Or
Yeah.
I really like high tech, but that marketing thing maybe wasn't for me, but wow, I was really interested in what was going on in sales or in operations. Like it's
Yeah.
remind me what I forgot what you're studying again. What are you?
I'm actually in psychology with a minor in business management.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
where do you think that's going to lead?
I don't really know. I think honestly, I really abide by the law of like your major doesn't matter. It's about the experiences that you get outside of it.
Good point.
By like my nature, I really care about like how things are received or other people or like how people interact. So I think that's sort of like the bridge between like psychology going into like marketing or like looking at like the customer facing things. But like in my free time, like I do like the research projects. I'm in like a nonprofit like consulting org. I'm in like a business leadership like group, and I get so much exposure from that. And that's really given me a lot more clarity of like, I want to join the tech space. I want to be in like field marketing. And that's like really what's guided me. And I think now in my career, since it's so early on, it's a lot about exploration and like the process more than like the end goal.
Yeah,
So far.
I like that because you still have time, which is a good thing.
It doesn't feel like it. I still feel like I should be like more progressed at this point in my life.
There's always that, impending pressure that's coming at you. But I will say from experience, like I graduated and I didn't have anything.
Really?
And nothing lined up. Like I interviewed for a ton of different things.
Really?
And so I just went home. And crazy, and this will make me super old. This is going to be one of those super anachronistic things. But I got my first job by answering an ad in a newspaper.
I've never
I called and applied, or I don't know if I called. I think I sent a letter and applied, and then they called me.
Wow.
And my first interview was answering sports trivia question because it was for a sports an online, not even online, there was no online, but it was an interactive gaming company that was very early. And they called me to interview, and they asked me 10 trivia questions about sports. and I got like 8 or 9 of them right. And they're like, could you come to the office? We're probably going to hire you.
Wow. So
I know.
I
Isn't
guess
that crazy?
you being like a coach and working at the camp, like worked for something.
Yeah.
You don't see yourself in the sports space anymore?
I love the sports space, but
Okay.
I would love to be announcing sports, but I do this. But I announce
It's
high
pretty
tech.
cool as well.
It's adjacent. You talked a little bit early on about access to some of those AI tools, and something that is going to be a common theme that I want to weave through talking to all the interns is your personal view and your outlook on AI and AI tools. How and where is it useful? What are you cautious about?
Okay, I like that.
Right?
Yeah. So I feel like in applying for jobs, I feel like I really realized how important it was to be pretty fluent in using AI tools or being at least open to learning, because I think that's a lot of like the purpose that we can like provide to our teams. And I think for applications of like repeatable tasks or things that maybe like there could be a lot of human error, but it's like repeatable, or like there's a certain like source of truth that we can refer to and just like sort of repeat that task. That's a good handoff to AI. But there should still be like human interaction. There should still be like we're checking things off and making sure everything's good. I think especially when I was doing like research projects, it was really important for me to still go about it in like, how do you say, like
Quality control.
a quality
in a way.
control
Right.
manner. Like I still
Yeah.
go about like finding my own resources and reading all the papers and then compiling the notes and seeing like, okay, also read the same documents. What gaps did I miss? Like, could I organize my notes a little better? So like if someone else were to read it, could they also understand what I was picking up? And I think that's really important, especially because like coming as a psych major, using AI does like make our brains a little more lazy.
Yeah,
So making sure we're
for
still
sure.
like finding ways to challenge ourselves or like innovate. I think with the project that I'm creating for the EBC, I've been able to do just that because I still have to like problem solve and like have like a lot of moving parts so that the tools are as intuitive and like as usable as possible for the actual team and people that are using it.
Yeah, it's great.
So-
It's great at just crunching and going off and doing, but you need to create the strategy and the structure and the framework,
Exactly,
behind that,
exactly.
and then also that quality control piece.
Yeah.
But as students, I will say, all of you that are coming in here are super both lucky, and I'm also bummed at the opportunity. You're lucky because you're never going to have to go into a library and hunt down something called microfiche and put it on a machine and scan through journals and journals.
Yeah.
But the other part is you may miss out on the opportunity of going into like the rare book room in your school library
Yeah.
and getting them to bring that book and with the tweezers turning the pages. Like, 'cause that was something I had to do when I was doing research, and it was super fun. But
I feel like our process has been like shifted so significantly. It's like so difficult for me to imagine like if my parents were have like an internship at like my age right now, like I wonder what it would look like back then. But it's very, very interesting how things have shifted. And I think there's a really big gap of like, there's a lot of really strong AI tools, but also being able to like learn where it applies and then also like learn how to use them and then also apply it is honestly takes a lot of time. So I have a lot of like, I guess, I don't know, sympathy, empathy for people who haven't been able to integrate it like to the extent that they want to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And at the same time, you're here working amongst people on this floor and know that the human connection and building those relationships is super important, both with the field marketing teams and the EDC teams, which are filled with wonderful Everpure employees.
Yes, of course. Superstars.
In those groups. That's great.
Yeah.
Overall, good experience, though.
Overall, amazing experience. And I think like genuinely everyone has been so open to conversation, especially being early in my career. I don't really know exactly what I want to do, but everyone has been so open to conversation and telling me what they do in their function here. And I think it's giving me a lot of clarity of like, wow, that sounds really exciting. Like, oh, do you have someone like it's a little similar to your role? And then it's like taking me on this whole path, and I've gotten to learn so much like within my own team and then within like the entire company. So yeah.
And I think that's great advice. I mean, that's the advice when I do new hire trainings, when people go, well, what's one thing you would tell us as people that are here on our second day? I say, just go up to people and ask them what they do. What do you do? Why is it interesting? What, what did you study? How did you get into that field? Maybe you didn't study to get, I'm a poli-sci major and I've been doing marketing for 30 years. To your point about like, that's the journey, it's not the end goal. It's the journey and the path.
Exactly. Yeah. I think I made small talk with somebody in the elevator and they're like on the product team. And I was like, oh, that's so awesome. He was like, oh, it's not that cool. And then we were going back and forth. So it's very cool. There's a lot of cool people everywhere. And I think everyone plays a very important role. So it's cool to see like what their day-to-day looks like.
Yeah. I love that. Well, thanks for popping in today and sharing your perspectives
of
on
course.
Everything. And thank you for working with us this summer. And certainly we all benefit from the output of your contributions this summer. And I work on stuff that's EBC related. So I'm really excited that you're putting some automation and some muscle behind that'll make all of our jobs easier going forward.
Of course. That's my goal.
Yeah. And overall, I know you guys had fun. So
yeah.
That's the best
of
part.
Course. Shout out to my intern. Shout out to my team.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for coming in, Keira.
Thank you
it was
so
great
much.
to chat with you. Thanks, everybody. Stay tuned as we're going to bring in another one of our summer 2026 interns. Thanks for watching. Welcome back, everybody, to our 2026 Summer Intern Extravaganza. Yeah, that's what I'm going to be calling it. And I'm so delighted to welcome Lilian Truong to the studio. What do you think? Exciting to be in here?
Yeah, super excited. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here and to talk about my experience. So yeah, I'm looking forward to our conversation.
This is great. I'm just so happy to have all of you coming in. You are working in marketing operations and currently at UC Irvine. What is it like down at Irvine, going to school there?
Yeah, so I'm a third year at UC Irvine. I study business economics and I absolutely love UC Irvine. I love the area. I think it's pretty similar to here. So I feel like the assimilation was really similar. So I didn't feel any difference. And I love the people there. I love all the opportunities offered there and just the people. The culture, they make it so great. So I'm excited to be back.
I love that. And you probably saw some of that same great culture and people here during your summer experience. What's that been like?
Yeah, every conversation I've had is amazing. Everyone is so welcoming, and especially for interns, it can be really scared being like the youngest in the group, but everyone has made a great effort to make me feel really included. So I feel really happy here, and all the people I've talked about with the culture and how they like it here, it really reflects into their work. So yeah, I really enjoy it here, and I love all the meaningful conversations that we've had.
I love that. Yeah, one of the things I love, and I've known this for years of being here about our internships, is that we really you're included, right? You're included in the day-to-day operations. You're brought along into the meetings, but also we give you meaningful work. Like we give you meaningful projects to work on. What's been something that you've been working on for the group over the summer?
Yeah, so specifically within marketing operations, I'm more on the management budget side.
Okay.
So a big part of my project is trying to teach marketers how to budget. Yeah, so I'm creating like an onboarding deck on how they can use certain softwares to manage their budget, but also the overall process, what it takes to submit a purchase request or file in a purchase order. So that's been really meaningful in the sense that I didn't have previous finance experience, but it's great experience for me to get exposure to. So I've been kind of creating this onboarding doc, also expanding and scaling the hub pages, which is really great. And my team has been very supportive in giving me a helping hand since it's kind of is learning a new language, but it's all valuable, all great.
Yeah, there's hundreds of people in marketing, right? And we're all responsible for both managing budgets, but also
Yes.
making purchases of various things. People would be blown away by the things that we sometimes have to
Yes.
go out and buy or subscribe to. So it's great to have some
Yeah.
discipline and some process behind that.
Mm-hmm.
Relative to your major in business economics, what are you looking out towards in the future? Like, has what you've been doing here at Everpure connected a little bit or given you kind of an idea at some things in the future, but also in your mind, like where do you plan to look career-wise once you finish at Irvine?
Yeah, so studying business economics, it's a very broad major. It
Yeah.
talks a lot about money, but also the social implications of money and also how the world operates. So coming into this business, I had a lot of like economic knowledge that actually is applied to my work. So one of the things that I helped with on my team or someone on my team was that I helped them kind of analyze data within the CMO dashboard. So they take a lot of like CRM data and then they translate that. And in current spikes of all the data, it happens to be correlated to the economic policies and the economic change in supply chains and whatnot. So that was really cool to see my school education be reflected into how businesses work and how they operate with all these sudden changes. So going forward, having that business economics background is really great because I get to both explore like the social part of the world, but also how a business operates. And going forward, I am specifically looking for like marketing positions and marketing roles, but also a big interest of mine that I want to explore is also HR.
Okay.
So yeah, so here I've been talking to a lot of marketing people, but also HR people, and they've been super helpful in helping me guide through my early career, which is really, really great. So yeah, I would love to explore those fields further.
I love that. And HR, I think that's a great avenue, right? That's something even with so much AI that's coming online, like the human element of what we need to do with responding to existing employees' needs, but also bringing new people into the company and ramping them up really quickly. What's it been like working at a high tech company, right? Because you could have chosen to go do an internship at anything, and again, you're kind of from the Bay Area, so you've been around like those of us that
Yes.
grew up here and exposed to all the companies that we have there. Anything that surprised you about working at a tech company on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, for sure. So both my parents are in tech.
Okay.
So I've been pretty exposed to that environment at a young age. And coming from the Silicon Valley, I think tech was a really great industry that I kind of wanted to step my foot into. I would say I'm really surprised on the scaling of it all.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a very, very big industry that I have yet to touch on. And now that I'm gaining that valuable experience here, I'm like, wow, everything is on a very large enterprise scale. So that really shocked me coming from someone who had experience with like startups and then like smaller programs. So definitely using my skills and like the knowledge that I've gained from those smaller programs and trying to scale it along the business has been really interesting for me to learn. I mean, I'm learning more about myself within my career, so that's been fun.
That's a really interesting observation too, that you contrast that to the work in startups or maybe smaller companies, because every company's at a different stage of
Yeah.
where it is with growth. When I started here, we had 800 people, right? And now we're in the thousands and thousands.
Yes.
So it is really interesting to just step back and observe like how do companies actually grow and scale and do that efficiently. And it does blow my mind sometimes to think that, we all show up here and just everything gets done, and
Yeah.
we build products and we market products and we manage the operations like the team that you've been on, and it all works. And we're not even as big as some other companies. I mean, I've worked for a company that had 130,000 people, and it just always blew my mind. Like it somehow works. Like organizational behavior is a really interesting thing when you kind of dig into that. To what extent, and I'm doing this because I also want people watching and listening just to see what kind of the next generation coming into the workforce thinks. To what extent have you embraced and adopted AI, both in your school work and studies, but also here at Everpure and some of the other work experience you've had? So how do you view that?
Yeah, so when AI kind of came out, it started in my college years, my early college years, and seeing the transition from people going towards that AI route has been really interesting to witness. And for example, when I was going through my work processes in school and like studying, I noticed that AI had become very prevalent for a lot of professors and teachers to kind of be wary of, because it's definitely a caution when it comes to learning. It's interesting for students to have this platform and then also while being in school. So when I was like studying for a lot of things, I noticed that AI could also be a really great tool, but also could be really dangerous for the early generations using it. But specifically, it became very helpful when I had to make a lot of study decks and study guides. When I had so much material to understand and learn, I would just put it through AI and it became a really great study tool. So in that sense, it was really great, but also there's some cautions with it. And specifically within the work field, I've noticed that there's a lot of usage with AI and has helped a lot of processes for certain things. When you are gathering a lot of data or gathering a lot of information, AI can be really helpful in turning that into like presentations or really meaningful deliverables. But I can definitely see how we must verify the information with AI before we actually deliver it to people. So there's a lot of caution behind AI within school as well. So I just would say be cautious about how you use it and use it to your advantage as a tool instead of using it as your work, because you are human.
Yeah, not as your work, but as a tool or as a way to synthesize large data sets or to take things that you've already created and to create summaries. And I love your verify, because that's been a common theme on some other pods that I've done where, AI does about 80% of the work that we need, and then the human element needs to come in and do the other 20%. Actually, I was listening to a podcast yesterday or day before with a guy who's kind of an expert in AI, and he described it as the AI right now is kind of like we're centaurs. Centaurs are like human heads, and so you have the human head, but then the AI is driving the animal body below and just doing and getting the work done, and that's that balance that you have.
That's interesting.
On the mental and the verify. Yeah, I'll share you that link with you. It was super interesting and super entertaining. Kind of final last thoughts. If you're talking to anybody that's considering an internship here at Everpure, what would you say to them? What would you give them advice about why or why not to pursue something here?
Yeah. During school, I found it a mission to gain further experience outside of just what this classroom can teach you, because what the classroom teach you is really in theory. So I made it my mission to find experience at a company that was willing to give me that experience and use my education into a great deliverable project. So when I discovered Everpure had an internship program, I knew it was something that I had to apply for because it was just a great opportunity. And every blog or every website that I visited on Everpure, they always noticed about like the culture and the work ethic. Also, their mission is really important for the company. So all of those values together, it made me really want to pursue Everpure. And could confidently say that walking out of this internship, I've gained so much valuable hands-on experience, which was what I was looking for. So yeah, super happy about my experience and every connection or relationship that I've made. So moving forward, Everpure will definitely be a very pivotal moment in my early career journey.
I love that. What a strong statement to make. And thank you for being interested in coming here and taking on an internship, and also reinforcing the value and what we challenge our interns with. It's not just go put some stamps on letters and mundane things. I put some really interesting challenges, and probably people don't also know that you actually go stand in front of pretty large parts of the department and have to present your projects at the end of the summer, and that's all coming up in the next week and a half. So thank you for giving us the time and just for sharing a little bit about your journey. It's been a blast to have you on here, and also that you mentioned the connections that you made. I've noticed you all, almost everybody that we're going to have on this series, you guys all hang out, all work together. It's super, super fun just to see that you've created a little mini community of interns for the summer, and that's worked for you.
Absolutely adore them.
Love that.
They make my experience so much better, and it's just great to have friends around who share like similar experiences and projects with you. So it's been great.
And I hope you all stay in touch going forward.
I would love to stay in touch with all of them.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. Well, thank you, Lilian, for coming on and sharing with everybody your experience. And thank you for checking this out. We're going to keep going after this with another one of our summer interns. Thank you for checking this out. Hope it's providing you some really good insights about what we do with the next generation of workers and employees coming out of college in a few years. Welcome back, everybody. Pleased to welcome Asha Parker, who goes to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. That is such a cool school. And you have been working with our brand marketing team and corporate team, and actually some things that we've been working on together. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Rob. Glad to be here.
It's great to have you here.
I know, I'm excited.
What's the summer been like for you?
Oh my God, a blur.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
A good blur.
A super good blur. I feel like I've learned like exponential the amount that I've learned in my entire life, like professionally. I can't describe to you like how much knowledge I'm going to leave.
And that's like in 12 weeks.
It's insane. Right. And I learn like every single day. It is a whole new skill set I feel like I've developed. It's like a day, but in a week, if that makes sense.
But you're teaching us things too, right? When we were working the other day, we were sitting there looking at, changing the workflow for going through this. And you're like, well, I'm going to have Claude do this, and it's going to look, I'm like, okay, okay, thank you.
And I learned that just a week ago. And then this week it's something new that I'm on. So
I love that.
It's been a lot. It's been great.
How'd you get connected to the internship in the first place?
Yeah. So I talked with actually the head of brand and corporate marketing, Susie.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, she's awesome. I feel like our energies immediately connected. I don't know. That sounds cliche to say, but
no, but she's
awesome. And she recommended this internship. And so I talked to a few more people on the team, and everyone was absolutely awesome and inspiring. And just them talking about what they were working on was super cool to hear, because I didn't know too much about marketing before coming on this internship. So hearing that was kind of inspiring, and I was like, okay, let's do it.
Well, what do you think now? You're doing business administration, and then we were talking beforehand with a little bit of emphasis in human resources and management, but maybe a little bit of sales and marketing stuff to round it out now?
Yes. I think to describe myself, I feel like I'm a very versatile person, so I could really do whatever, but I do think like personality-wise and value-wise, I now see myself more aligned like in marketing. I don't know. I just really enjoy the people that it attracts, and my team that I've worked with this summer is so awesome, and I think brings out a really good side of me that I like a lot. So
what kind of side? What did it bring out, the experience this summer?
I think I came in super like anxious, just not confident in myself, I don't know, kind of confused what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be, who I wanted to be as a person, not just professionally. And then, exploring this professional life with my team, I've kind of developed a sense of self and like a purpose. And I think that's where I'm learning the most. And I'm learning a lot about myself too.
I love that. I love that you got both practical as well as sort of human experience.
Yes.
And that's part of growing up, right? I mean, that's part of where you are in life is like, what am I going to do? Who am I? What is it? Because by the time you hit your 30s, that's pretty well established.
There it is.
Like, you kind of have that sort of locked in.
Right. So having that, especially now in my 20s, trying to figure that out and sort that out has been especially helpful to have such a good mentor and team surrounding me and, helping me figure out what works for me.
What about working in tech? Was it super interesting just being in this dynamic environment and how things are changing and it's hard to keep up?
Yeah. I love the fast-paced environment. That is, I think my brain works like that. I will say, first few weeks, I was searching up every single term, trying to figure out what everything meant.
Those darn acronyms, too. We overly use them, TLAs, right?
But it helps. And I think, after that 2 weeks of adjustment and, figuring out what people were saying, it's super enjoyable to be around because you're constantly, like I said, learning new things and challenging your brain. And I feel like I'm getting smarter. I don't know. Do it. Yeah. It's inspiring.
It kind of happens by osmosis, though. Where, I mean, some of the biggest learnings I've had in my career is when I've just gone to somebody that knows that area and just had them sit me. When I started in semiconductors, and it was the same thing. Like my first 2 months of being in like chips, they used all these terms, and I had no idea. And I finally went to my boss, who was like this electrical engineer. I just said, Mike, can we just sit in a room for
And you
an
tell me everything.
hour, and
Yeah.
can you just whiteboard? Did we have whiteboards? It was 1996. Maybe.
But same thing.
But can you just draw out, like, I'm hearing these terms? And we did, and it helped. And it helped to the extent where I could talk about it, even if I didn't necessarily understand the underlying technology.
Sure,
and
you
what was
can-
really, 'cause I'm not an engineer.
Right.
I play when at work, that whole joke.
Right.
But you kind of
Yeah.
understand it. And so you kind of went and figured that out on your own as well.
Right. Talking to all the different people on different teams and just hearing the little pieces, and then it's kind of slowly connecting together. And I think, to comment on that, are a lot of our AI things that we what is the exact
Internal,
word? Internal AI
internal tools like Glean
tools
and things like that.
have in my terms carried me
Yeah.
through and not using it as a skill, like as a whole, like as the intern, but using it as an extra resource to kind of back up my thinking and reinforce what I'm learning.
Yeah, not a shortcut, not
no.
doing the work for you,
No,
but I have
exactly.
some premises or
Right. And so I'm not going in asking the same question 20 times.
Right.
You know what I mean? It helps me learn quicker.
I love that. What's been your big 1 or 2 projects that you've been taking on that people be interested in hearing about?
Yeah. So I jumped right in to the blog,
Okay.
which, people are like, okay, it's a blog. Like,
Right.
I mean, how much is it? You just click post. But no, there is so much that goes into it. And the content team works overtime to produce different blogs that relate to, what we're trying to talk about as a company. And they're the top of the funnel. So they're super important for just grabbing
Totally
anyone's
are.
attention.
Right.
And I'm learning that every day, that it's not just a blog. And so to focus more on the strategy side of blog, I came in and automated a lot of the processes that we were spending like 3 or 4 hours a day on, just reading through stuff, trying to categorize it. So I had different AI agents go in and be able to kind of categorize that for us, so that the back end process is a little quicker for us. And we can focus more on strategy and where our gaps are.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, it'll blow your mind that when I started here, every employee was given a WordPress account and told to blog like once or twice a week. You can only imagine the amount of clutter and disconnectedness that we have. And now with you able to go like agentify, not only knowing what we have, but what's being created,
Right.
it's going to create a much more solid, consistent, aligned message and story out to the people that want to find it.
And I think we're seeing that alignment completely with our new own content strategy. I think, we've come a long way from everyone just posting blog free for all. It's definitely a more aligned process for sure. And it's cool to see.
Are you excited about AI tools in general, or are you a little bit cautious, both at school and within your time here and in the future?
Yeah, I think cautious is a super important word. I think everyone should be cautious of every new tool thing introduced, especially with AI and that conversation. I think it's an important tool and it's helpful. And I can't say I haven't used it. I've used it and I use it every day.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to draw those boundaries where we use it, and, making sure that we're using it ethically and in the right way. I've used it a lot for, automating the processes that need to be automated so that people have time to, do other things with their job and grow, so I think there's that.
It's good advice.
Yeah.
That makes sense. What would you say? Last thing, what would you say to somebody in the future that might stumble upon this, who's looking at, it's a very leading question, by the way, who might be looking, you're supposed to answer with glowing,
Okay.
but somebody who's like kicking the tires, looking at, this Everpure thing. I'm a college student. I'm a grad student.
Yeah.
Should I go engage here in an internship? And it doesn't necessarily have to be marketing. Like we do internships across all disciplines across the country. And there's
single
actually
sector.
a mentoring event coming up too, which I don't know if you guys are here for, but like they just got us signed up, and I do that every year, and it's such a blast to talk to people in different roles. But what would you say to somebody looking at doing an internship, like what it's done for you and the value?
I think internships in general are super important. I think internally look at what you value as a person and who you are as a person and what you want out of your professional life, because you're going to be doing it for a while. and then see if Everpure and those values align with yours. And I think for me, I mean, Everpure's values completely align with mine, and I work super well with the fast-paced and, welcoming and innovative environment. And I think that can apply to a lot of my generation just in general with all the new tools that we have introduced, like AI.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a very,
Well,
that was a general answer, but
no, it's a great answer,
Thank you.
right? No, you covered it because, aligning with what, not everything is a fit.
Right.
It's the same with we're looking for jobs and companies. Not everything's a fit.
And I feel like that's okay. Like if you discover, I think trying it out, because you're never really going to know. Yes,
Right.
you can internally look at your values and like try and figure out if you're really going to like it, but you're never really going to know until you do try it. So try it. And if you don't like it, you have so many more other opportunities.
Yeah. I love that. That's great. Well, we're excited to see what comes next
I'm excited.
for you.
Thank you.
And don't be a stranger.
Never.
Definitely circle back and
Yeah.
come see us. And
Yep.
maybe we'll see you out here in the future.
course.
There are many, many interns that I've known and talked to in my way too many years here that have actually come
Transitioned.
back and gotten full-time jobs.
That's
and
my
just
goal.
started their career.
I'm
Okay.
so excited.
Okay. Well, you're saying it out loud. That's the
Yep.
goal.
Here we go.
Asha, thank you so
See you
much
soon.
for coming in. Yeah, hopefully we do see you soon. Thanks
Yeah.
for spending a few minutes with me to
course.
just talk about your experience and the internship. And thank you for continuing to watch. We got another one coming up for you. So stay tuned. And thanks for checking out this series on our 2026 Summer Interns. Welcome back, everybody, to our final, last but not least, of our summer marketing interns. Really pleased to bring on Sophia Mariaca. Thank you so much.
Yes,
We
of
made it,
course.
but this was kind of an idea that you and I kicked around. You guys tend to sit out there
We do.
out by the studio, and you went, "Hey, what do you do in there?"
I've
and
always wanted to see it in here.
Can interns see it? And then I said, why don't we record? So
Yep.
thank you for that.
Yep, and we jumped at the chance to come see it.
Well, and you guys have all done so well, I would say, now that we've had you all in. It's great to hear your perspectives. It's great to, kind of understand a little bit about what the next generation is
Yeah,
thinking,
for
but
sure.
also what you guys think about working here in a high-tech environment. So
Yeah.
how has that been for you this summer?
It's been really great. I mean, I couldn't have even expected how serious it would have been working here. I mean, the corporate world, there's nothing like being in it to actually experience it. I mean, even marketing, it feels pretty broad until you go into a corporation like this and there's all these separate teams and we're all working cross-functionally. But it's been really great. I've learned a lot just even talking to people. I mean, you don't talk to people on a professional level all the time at school. So it's been really great.
That's been a common thread that we've seen through the discussions with all of you
Yeah.
is just the human connection, but also where you all are with your careers and where you are in schooling. Just having exposure to different people in a corporate environment and hearing what they do really helps you gauge like, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Or that might not be for me, but it's cool. It's for them. And trying to figure that out. And then I remember your first day, we threw you into the fire. Do you remember
Yes,
that?
yes, I
Your first day
remember
you came in and
I'll never forget it.
Mike goes, all right, we're going upstairs at 3:00. You're going to be sitting in on this big review
Yeah.
with a few of our execs. How was that?
It was crazy. I'll never forget that. I don't think I realized how big of a deal it was until like I was in there, and then
Yeah.
after I had like talked to him, I was like, oh my gosh, wait, that actually was like the founder and the
Yeah.
CEO and everything, and it was really cool. I mean, it was just so cool to like listen in on all the different opinions. I mean, strong opinions, and they were naming something for the company, so
Yeah.
it was like very serious, and it was super cool, and I was glad that I got to meet all of them.
Well, you got to be a fly on the wall for
I did
that.
get to be a fly on the
And
wall.
it's one thing I loved about working here as long as I have is just that accessibility to, there are some companies, and you may find this out when you go into the workforce, where, the upper echelons of leadership are really difficult to access, or they
Yeah,
don't want to be
yeah.
accessed. And one of the earliest things I learned here was just how available and
And willing.
transparent and willing that our leaders are to listen to any idea. And that's very much a cause thing. It's very much a Charlie thing,
Yeah.
right? If you have an idea and it's going to be a better way to meet the needs of our customers and to work with our partners, they want to hear it and
Yeah.
they'll go explore it.
I've noticed that too. Like networking has been so easy. People are so willing to just have a coffee chat with you. I mean, they're asking you to schedule a coffee chat. Like I've had some people and it's just like, oh wow, you really want to like talk to me and get to know me. And like I've been meeting with a lot of the product marketing people and it's just so interesting to see how they all led to product marketing. Cause it's like, it's not very talked about in school, product marketing specifically. So I really wanted to talk to all the people in product marketing so I could see what really led them to it. Do you have a tech background? Do you just have a strictly marketing background? So it's
But there's
been
not
really
one
great.
path, is there?
There really is
It's
not.
Isn't that
Everybody on
crazy?
my team has a
Isn't that
different
crazy?
path. Yes,
Yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah.
So I've been asking everybody, and maybe it gets a little repetitive, but it's everybody has a different answer, so it's really interesting.
Yeah, some of us studied things that are
Yeah.
totally unrelated.
Yes, like Mike.
to marketing.
Yeah, I know.
What did Mike?
I think political science.
I'm a political science too.
That's insane.
We both
to
are.
me.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we both probably thought at one point we want to go become lawyers, and then didn't want to go to school
Yeah.
for that, or
And then stumbled
got
upon
soured
product
on it,
marketing.
and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden, like, oh, okay, it's another role where we get to talk with and at
Yeah.
people and be creative and connect with people.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
been really great.
And it's so cross-functional. I mean,
totally.
Yeah, like with my projects and things, like I've been having to talk to sales. I've been talking to customers directly, which that just feels like a huge responsibility that I was given.
What's
as an
that been
intern.
like? Tell me about that. Like,
It's been
and again,
really
people,
great.
our interns are talking to customers.
Yes, I've been
How
talking
cool is
to
that?
customers. Yes, I've
Yeah.
talked to about like 6 customers. It's been really great. I mean, I feel like I've gotten better talking to them every time, but it's really inspirational because some of the people, like I have customer outreach usually on the meetings too, and when they talk, they're so well spoken, and then you just want to be as well spoken as them too. But it's been really great. I mean, all the customers were really nice, and it's really awesome to get all the insights. And I have the questions prepped, so it's a little bit less stressful, but it does feel like a huge responsibility.
Yeah.
But I'm really grateful for it.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
And again, it's a common thread. I just love the opportunity that
Yeah.
we give to our interns. It's not mundane work.
It's
It's not
not at
plugging stuff
all.
into a spreadsheet. It's sort of, and you've had not one, but 2 kind of big ticket projects that you've been
Yeah,
working, and you're
yes.
presenting to us next
I am
week. You get to
presenting
present
next
to the whole
week.
department.
Yes.
What's the preview? What do we have?
Okay.
What do we have to expect?
Okay, so I have the one I was just talking about where I'm talking to customers that are actively using Fusion
Okay.
and gaining insights on what's been working, where they want to see improvements.
Love it.
And then I've been making an infographic out of those findings. So it's like a
Creating some
tangible,
content.
yes. So that can be
Everybody loves an infographic.
Yes,
I do.
I love an infographic.
Oh, yeah.
I hadn't made one before, so first time, and hopefully it
How'd you
looks
go
good.
about it?
I use Claude Design
Okay.
to give me the basics, and then I usually prompt Claude Design as far as I can, and then I tell it to give me it in a Google slide format, so then
Okay.
I can go through
And
it
then you take it from
really
there.
like fine tune everything that I want in it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
And that's
that's how
what
I've been doing
everybody
it.
has said. And in general, one of the questions I've been asking everybody is just your thoughts, given perspective around AI and
Yeah.
the use of AI, both in a corporate setting and in a school setting.
Yeah.
Where do you stand around that?
It's interesting because AI kind of came into the picture probably my freshman year of college. So it's hard to even imagine not using it. It like that just feels like it's been
It's table
around for
stakes,
so long.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I remember when my dad first mentioned like ChatGPT, I was like, what? No way it can write like an essay in like 2 seconds. And then I started using it and, just at the very basic level until my last semester at SF State, I took a social media marketing with AI class. So then I got to discover all the different platforms and agents that you can use in all the different purposes because I was just strictly using ChatGPT and everything. And then coming here was like a huge, like using skills, artifacts, Claude Code. Yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, I use it for everything now just to give me basically 60% there.
Yeah.
And then the other 40%, you have to do it yourself. But I feel like there's been like trust with AI. I feel like people that haven't been using it, it's hard to like put trust into it. But I think that's what context kind of brings is that trust, putting your own context in it, how you like the writing to be and everything. So, yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah. Where I've used it based on things that I've generally already done.
Yeah.
Right. So there was a strategic plan that I built around our community, and like Bree on my team and I spent hours and hours writing it up.
Yeah.
But then we were asked to mock up summaries of it, right? And that's
Yeah.
one thing AI does really well, is just taking
It
a whole
does-
bunch
it
of
does a good
data
job
and
with that.
content, and then, you know, the word guessing neural network machine is really
Mm-hmm. yes.
good at pulling and extracting out,
Mm-hmm.
you know, summaries of things that makes a lot of sense, or
Yeah.
or crunching big giant data sets and giving you insights, which normally would take massive amounts of time.
It does a really great job. My actual project, one of my other projects was building an AI agent for our product marketing team.
Uh-huh.
So that's been really interesting. I've been running experiments because, you know, we have to be able to trust its evaluations and
right.
everything. So context has been huge. I mean, me and Brendan made a huge folder that just has standards, master doc, the evaluation standards, and it's just like so much context and everything. And honestly, it could use more. Like,
Yeah.
the more experiments I run, the more context it needs. And yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So great.
So that's my other project.
I love it. Well, I'm super excited to see you present that
Yes.
next week, and I'll be sure to ask nice questions.
Yeah,
right? I'm
not too difficult.
Well, no, nobody likes a gotcha question. Right?
Yeah.
And nobody likes the guy that asks the gotcha question, right?
Yeah,
And, ask
yeah,
questions
right.
to learn,
Yeah.
to understand. And I'm sure there's a lot that we're all going to learn from that. And it's just been a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
And all the interns here and sitting out there.
Yes.
Like, I'm
I know we're
glad-
all so close. It's so
Yeah,
nice.
I know. Well, and you're all friends, right?
We are all friends.
You're all
These-
buddies and friends that have come out of this, and I think that's one of the best parts and one of the things that people take away from a work environment is, you know, you're going to be stuck hanging out with people
Yeah,
8
exactly.
hours a day. You may as well find the people that you like to be with and build
Yeah.
relationships.
And I think something special about us marketing girls is that we really lean on each other for help because we're all just in one separate department each. So in a way we're kind of by ourselves, but like having each other makes it feel like we're not alone. So like just like getting ideas from each other, how to use different AI platforms, making artifacts, Claude Code, everything like that. We really rely on each other, and it's been really, really nice.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's
Well,
really
thank you
great.
for the idea to bring you all on.
Yes.
Again, a little bit different than our normal episodes, which
Yeah.
dive into, you know, a lot of the technology, but hopefully something different for people listening and watching, and just to, you know, get a flavor for what the next generation
what
that's
the
going to be
internship
coming up
program
to work in corporate is going to be around. And I'm sure we'll be seeing you around here.
Yes, hopefully.
Again.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sophia. It was great
Of
to
course, thank
have you on the
you.
program. And thanks to all 5 of our interns. I can't believe that we got all 5 of them on, and they did such an amazing job. And hopefully you checked it out, right? And were able to glean and learn some things. And if you are somebody that's looking at Everpure as a place both to work or to do an internship, it is a great place. Reach out, apply. If you're looking at an internship, talk to our wonderful university relations team. They do such an excellent job. And as you can see, not just in marketing, but disciplines all throughout the company where you can come in and do useful work, make an impact, and build relationships. And that's what it's all about. So thank you for watching this episode. Tell a friend, tell a colleague, and we will keep the great guests like Sophia and the other interns coming on to the show. And with that, we will wrap for Everpure for Harshul, Keira, Asha, Sophia, and Lilian. This is Rob Ludeman saying, don't look back. Something might be gaining on you.